Now sitting at 3-4 after 7 games, it appears the Sabres are slowly beginning to find their game. Find out my thoughts coming up. After my last video, I told everyone, including myself, to take a step back and take a deep breath, as even though they started 0-2, there was a lot of season left to be played. This past 5-game stretch, the Buffalo Sabres have gone 3-2, and it appears that they are slowly beginning to find their winning ways once again. So what are some of the good things and bad things from the past 5 games this week that I noticed while watching the Buffalo Sabres play? Let's start with the bad. Outside of a game against the Senators, the Sabres were struggling mightily to score goals, as they hadn't scored more than 3 goals in any of their first 6 games. Obviously, this goes along with the lack of goal scoring, but the Sabres' top guys in Tuch and Thompson were really struggling to get themselves on the score sheet early in this season through the first 6 games. Alex Tuch was looking like a shell of himself from last year. However, Tage Thompson was getting some opportunities. But the good news for Sabres fans is that this past game, both players may have finally broken through to get themselves off of a little bit of a schneid and get themselves rolling as we move forward in this season, as Tage Thompson scored 2 goals and an assist against the Senators, and Alex Tuch completed the Gordie Howe hat trick with a goal, an assist, and a fight against Brady Tkachuk. The last bad thing that I have for this Sabres team for the early part of this, for the last 5 games realistically, is that they still continue to struggle on home ice. Something that plagued this team last year, and something that looks like it is going to continue to plague this team this year unless they can figure out how to play at home. The Sabres were just 2-2 in their 4-game homestand and averaged a paltry 2.5 goals per game in those 4 games. Before we go any further, I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. Of course, I talk Bills, Sabres, and the University at Buffalo men's basketball and football teams right here on this page. Also, remember to check out some cool merch, and the links are going to be in the description below. Now, on to the good from this past week. In the last 5 games, the Sabres have really dialed in defensively, allowing just 14 goals, or just 2.8 goals per game over these last 5 games, which is well below the league average of 3.13 goals per game that teams are scoring. So something the Sabres had to key on in the offseason. Appears as though they worked very hard to shore up their defensive game overall. And early in this season, it has paid dividends, as defensively, they have been a much improved team. Another positive to start the season, realistically to start the season and in these 5 games, is that Casey Mittelstadt and Jeff Skinner continue their hot starts to this season, as Mittelstadt has a goal and 5 assists, giving him 6 points in his first 7 games. And Jeff Skinner is a complete opposite, has 5 goals and 1 assist, giving him 6 points in his first 7 games, with an honorable mention to Dylan Cousins, who also quietly has 6 points in his first 7 games with 2 goals and 4 assists. The last positive thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is the fact that we had reservations heading into the season realistically about the goalies to be on the Sabres roster this season. They didn't make any moves. They kept Eric Comrie. They kept Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and of course, they have Devon Levi. Now, Devon Levi started the first 4 games for the Buffalo Sabres, and in the last 3 games, it has been Comrie and UPL carrying the load. And so far this season, behind a much improved defense, all 3 goalies, apart from a bad goal here or there, appear to be completely capable of carrying the load for this Buffalo Sabres team. Sure, Comrie only got 2 games and UPL only got 1 game. However, if the trend continues with this team and being able to hold things down defensively and only asking their goalies to come up with an odd big stop every here and again, it will really help these guys as the season progresses. Every one of these guys has played a very solid, at least one very solid game, including multiple solid games from Devon Levi and Eric Comrie. UPL in his lone start did have a very solid game. I know the numbers don't necessarily look like it, but the Sabres defense in front of him got very sloppy late in that game. They were up 5-1 with less than 5 minutes to go, and the Sabres gave up another 3 goals to make it a 5-4 game before Thompson buries the empty netter, making it 6-4. That is stuff that is still a little bit concerning. However, with a very young team, I have no doubt that they will be able to fix that as the season moves forward. So after a very tough stretch that saw this young Sabres team play 5 games in 7 nights, they now get a little bit of a break this week with just 2 games in the next 7 nights. So they get a chance to rest up and hopefully come out and continue to play good hockey and start stacking wins so that we don't have to play catch up all season long like we did last year. Something that I think is key for this Buffalo Sabres team is to stay in contention for the entirety of the season and hopefully get over that hump when the season ends. That's going to do it for this episode, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Did I miss any positives and or negatives for this Buffalo Sabres team? I love answering every single comment that I get. That's going to do it for this week, guys. Have a fantastic week.